It's true, don't be blue. It's time for part 2. Welcome back, everybody, to another Tech Connect. It is part 2 of our wearables video. If you haven't seen part 1, stop this video right now. Luke, stop it right now. Hit the stop
filming?
button.
Okay.
Yeah, hit the stop button. Go and check out part 1 so that you know what we're talking about, but we are covering the rest of our video here, covering the Maggie iVR.
Yes.
eSight Go.
Correct.
And also the Eyedaptic EYE5.
Indeed.
Putting them through a bunch of different categories to see which one you think might be the best for you. Our last video got 6,000 comments.
Complaints.
5,999 were, I'm sick of seeing just you two. So
what was the other one, just out of curiosity?
Oh, that was me saying, I like you, Cory.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it was a bot, but leaving a spam message.
But we brought a special guest on to help us today. Patricia, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And yes, we're going to be looking at a number of different categories with Patricia, who is a person with a visual impairment. So we will be getting a true reckoning from an individual who might be using a device like this. And the categories that we are going to cover are magnification at distance and near, so that will be looking at an eye chart as well as a book. We are going to look at low light performance of these 3 devices to see which one operates the best in low light conditions. And we're also going to be checking out which one of the devices has the best high contrast color mode. So be excited for all of those coming up. So stick around and let's check out how these devices operate. Okay, so it is time to start putting these devices to the test with the help of Patricia here. However, the first thing that we need to do is get a baseline for what Patricia is able to see without any of these devices. Luckily, our beautiful assistant is stood over here. Cory, give a wave, holding the eye chart. And we have it currently on the 20/700 page. Now we are only at 10 feet, so just bear that in mind. But Patricia, can you see any numbers on the eye chart at the moment?
I can see it's 7.
All right, we have a 7. Cory, if you could change the page. All right, so now we have, let me have a look at this, the 20/600 it looks like. And Patricia, what can we see here?
A 4.
Oh, very good. All right, let's spin the page again. And this one, we have a 20/400. I think I need to get my eyes checked so I can read these numbers. All right, Patricia, any big numbers on the page here?
A 3.
Very good. Let's spin the page again. And so this would be 20/200. Patricia, anything here?
A 6.
All right, let's spin the page again. And this one will be this is 20/300, so I must have been getting some of these numbers wrong. But Patricia, can we see anything here?
Ooh, an 8.
Okay, that is not an 8, so we will stop this test here.
Okay.
It is indeed, and sorry for having to scoot forward here, but yes, this is the 20/300. So we know that we are stopped without any correction at the 20/300 line, and so that will be our baseline. We are now going to put the Eyedaptic EYE5 to the test and see, Patricia, whether that improves your ability to see these numbers. So let's check it out. All right, so we are about to start our first test, and this is going to be looking at the eye chart at distance. Our beautiful assistant, Cory Ballard, is standing over there holding the eye chart, and Patricia has got on the Eyedaptic EYE5. So this is the first device we are going to test here. So all we're going to do is Patricia is going to be looking at the chart, reading the numbers off, and as we need to increase the magnification, Patricia will let me know, and we're just going to see how far down the eye chart we can get. Are you ready, Patricia?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so here we are on the first page, and we have a fairly large set of 3 numbers. Patricia, can you read what these numbers are?
Top number is 4.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom number is 6.
Okay.
And 2.
All right, good so far. Cory, if you could switch the pages, please.
And may I ask what level of magnification we're at?
So this is at 4.5 times magnification currently. So we've just switched the page, and we are now looking at some numbers slightly smaller. Patricia, can you read these numbers? Another set of 3 numbers.
Top number is 8.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom numbers are 3 and 4.
Okay, perfect. It looks like at the moment this would be 20 over 120, as far as I can tell from the eye chart. So now, Patricia, getting a little bit trickier. We have 3 lines of 3 numbers, and they get progressively smaller as we go down the chart here. So can you read the top 3 numbers here?
The top numbers are 7. Can you increase the magnification?
Okay, I'm going to go up to 5.5 times. Let's see if we can read the top 3 numbers.
7, 2, and 3.
Okay, I'm going to increase magnification a touch more. See if you can get that last number. So we're at 6 times now.
Oh, 7, 2, and 6.
Very nice. Okay, 3 numbers below there. Any idea what those 3 might be?
You have a 9,
Mm-hmm.
a 3,
Mm-hmm.
and a 5.
Oh, very good. And that was the 2080 line. There are 4 numbers beneath there, Patricia, and we are getting smaller. So if we need more magnification, we can apply it. Any idea what those 4 numbers might be?
I see an 8, and I think I need increased magnification.
All right. So we are going up to 7 times now. Let's see if we can find the number next to the 8.
4.
Mm-hmm.
6.
Very good.
And 7.
Oh, yes. Excellent. So that was the 2060 line. I should point out, by the way, we are about 10 feet away here, not 20 feet. So that is important to note. All right, Cory, switch the page. Okay, Patricia, we are at 7 times magnification. Can you read the numbers on the top line?
I can see that it's 3 numbers, but I can't make out what those numbers are.
Okay, we are going to increase magnification. We're going to 9 times. We're almost at the top of what this device can do. Can we see anything?
9 times.
Wow. No.
Okay, we're going up to 10 times, Patricia. This is it. Maximum magnification.
Engaged.
Engaged. Can you make out the numbers on the top line?
It's a 5.
Yes.
An 8.
Okay.
And a 3.
Okay, so let's stop there because we did miss a couple of numbers and we got a number wrong. The numbers there were 51623. I'm going to zoom back down again. That was the 2040 line. So with the Eyedaptic EYE5, we got to the 2040 line, although we're only at 10 feet away. So I guess that would really be 2080 if we figure it out in our heads here. But that was pretty good, Patricia. How did you find that device?
It helps me to see a lot better than I could before.
Okay, well, that's good. That's the idea. So I guess that's a win for the i5. Let's see how that compares to using the eSight Go. Okay, so on to the test of the second device. This is the eSight Go, and we are starting at the 2100 line here. And again, we are only at 10 feet, so this would really be about 2200, I would say. So Patricia, we are currently at 11 times magnification with the eSight Go. Are you able to make out the top row of 3 numbers?
7.
Mm-hmm.
5.
Okay.
6.
Okay, now we did have a wrong number there, so I am going to zoom in a little bit more, and we're going to try that top 3 numbers again. We're going to go up to 13 times magnification, and can you make anything out here?
7, 2, 6.
Aha! All right, nice job. So we're going to turn the page now. This is the page that we ended on with the previous device, and we're going to see if we're able to read the top line of this page with the eSight. So see if you can locate the top line, Patricia, and tell us any numbers on the top line. There are 5 numbers on the top line.
A 5.
Very good.
A 4.
Okay, there is no 4s there. I'm going to increase the magnification. And we should point out that the eSight has got the most magnification available of any of these devices. So we're now at 16 times, so we're getting really pretty large here, but that does mean that the field of view is quite restricted, and so Patricia can only see a little bit of the chart, at any one time at the moment. So can we make out any more numbers on the top line there, Patricia?
It's a 1.
Very good, yeah.
If I can only focus, it would be A 6.
Okay, anything else?
An 8.
There is no 8, so we're going to zoom in a little bit more here. We're really getting up there. We're on 19 times zoom now. Can we make out what number that is? It's not an 8.
It's a 3.
There is a 3, yep, and there was a number just before the 3 as well that we have missed. So see if you can tell us what that one is.
A 6.
Okay, there is a number between the 6 and the 3. So yes, we managed to read though 4 out of 5 numbers on that line. Now, Patricia, I can see how much you are focusing here, how much effort you are putting into reading these numbers. So although we could read a little bit further with this device, thanks to its higher magnification, it seems that it requires quite a lot of effort and might not necessarily be super comfortable to do for an extended period of time. So I will not torture you asking you to read the next row, Patricia. I think instead we will take a look at the final of the 3 devices, the Maggie iVR. Okay, so for the final distance test, we are utilizing the Maggie iVR. This is a VR-style headset, so slightly different to the other 2. And VR-style headsets often give a wider field of view and can be more comfortable in terms of the viewing experience, but also a little bulkier to wear. So Patricia, we are currently at 3.5 times magnification. Our beautiful assistant has the chart set to the same starting page as we used last time. We are at the 2100 line. Again, we are only at 10 feet though. So this should be around 2200. And Patricia, can you make out any numbers on the top line?
The top line is 726.
Almost too easy. So that was 3.5 times magnification.
A 9.
Yes.
And a 7.
Oh my gosh. All right, Patricia, we are getting crazy now. This is going to be the 2025 line, the next one down. There are 6 numbers on the 2025 line. I'm going to preemptively zoom up to 9.5 times, and let's see if we can make out any of the numbers on the 2025 line.
A 6.
Very good.
A 1.
Correct.
An 8.
That is not an 8. We're going to zoom in.
It's a 5.
It is a 5, yeah. Well, we still zoomed in, so we went up to 10.5. Anything after the 5 here, Patricia?
Let's see, am I on the right line?
Well, I don't know. I do not know. And this is part of the trouble, of course, when you zoom in and your field of view is reduced, it can be easy to kind of drift in between lines of text if you're trying to read.
4.
Yes. Anything after that?
An 8.
Yes. And anything after that?
Finally, a 2.
Oh, okay. We will stop there, Patricia. We might be able to keep on going because the Maggie does have more available magnification, but we can already see that for this test, the Maggie has allowed Patricia to see the most on the eye charts here, and actually using less quoted magnification. Yeah, seems like for this particular test, the Maggie has been the winner. Very good stuff. Thank you, Patricia. And we will discuss this further as we kind of wrap up how Patricia feels about the devices. But for the moment, let's move on to the next test. And this is going to be trying to read some regular print up close.
We got a comment from Mabel. She was sad I wasn't at the table. Pretty good, huh?
You're really pushing it.
I am. But I am back here. I am no longer holding the distance chart anymore. We have moved on to our next section of this image quality, the near and far distance test. But we are now going to be sitting in front of a book on a reading stand, and we're going to try out the 3 devices with kind of near your basic reading task.
Just your basic reading.
Just your basic reading. I mean, you took it for yeah. So we did ask Patricia ahead of time, though, to ask if she could read the book without the wearable magnification, and the answer was no. So we know our baseline is not able to see the text without any wearable. So let's jump in with our first wearable, the Eyedaptic EYE5.
Okay, so I'm hoping this book isn't too racy because I have not vetted it beforehand, and we are going to have Patricia read it out loud. So Patricia, I am going to control your magnification, and the first thing I would like you to do is let me know if and when you are able to see any of the words. So I'm going to increase, let's start here at 5 times the zoom. Can you make out any of the words at 5 times zoom, Patricia?
No.
Okay, so, can you see where the words are though?
I can see where they are.
Okay, perfect. So let's go up here. We are now on a 7 times zoom. And can you make out any of the words here?
I can make some of them out. In the beginning, I see we.
Okay, so the first word is we. And is there any words after that that you're able to make out?
No.
Okay, and that's okay. So obviously with reading, it's not just a case of can you make out the words, it's more actually, would you be able to read realistically fluently? So at the moment we can only make out the word we, so obviously that's not going to help us read this book. Let's magnify up to 9 times magnification. We're almost at the top level for this device. And can you find that we, Patricia, and read anything else from there?
Well, no.
We're going to go up to 10 times zoom. This is the maximum magnification. And if you could just let me know if you can see any words and then read a sentence.
No, I can't.
Okay, and that's fine. So it appears with the Eyedaptic EYE5, Patricia is not able to read the book, which is about a foot in front of her, even at the highest magnification. However, we do have a little twist in the story here, because with the EYE5 we can switch to the phone's camera and use that rather than the headset camera. And so for the sake of scientific accuracy, we're going to do that now. I'm going to switch to the phone camera and we will do the same test. I'm going to hold the phone up to the book here and tell me if you're able to make out any words at all here, Patricia. Now, you moving ahead here, I should point out, is not going to change anything. I'm in control of the camera at this point. Oh. So yeah, just tell me if you're able to make out any words.
You need to put the words in front of me.
Okay, well, that usually does help, I will admit. Are there any words in front of you now?
I have a... Is that joy?
I don't know exactly where you're reading from because I can't see what you're seeing.
I mean, I see the words.
Okay.
The camera is not really like focused in my eye vision.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So I think it's difficult to do this test because I can't see what Patricia is seeing, but maybe there is some possibility with this device in using the phone camera instead of the headset camera, and it may be possible to read like that. Unfortunately, it's very difficult for us to necessarily test that 100% accurately, but I think there may be some potential there. So with that being said, let's jump over to the next device, the eSight Go, and see whether that one allows Patricia to read. Okay, so now onto the same reading test, but with the eSight Go. Will it fare any better than the Eyedaptic EYE5? There's only one way to find out. Patricia, we are currently at 1 times magnification. I'm going to zoom up. I want you to tell me if and when you are able to read any of the words. We are currently at 5 times. Anything yet, Patricia?
No.
18 times magnification. Anything here, Patricia?
I see a number, 416.
Okay, that's the page number. Okay, anything else? So the word we should just be below that 416. And if we can find we, can we read any of the other words next to it?
We don't have...
Yes. Okay, we're going to zoom up a little bit more. Give it one last college try here. Zoom 21. Anything here now? The field of view will be very restricted at this point, and so it might be quite difficult to keep focused on any of the words, even if you can see them. So Patricia, you tell me, what can you see here?
We don't have... I don't know. I can't...
Make out the next word.
Yeah.
Okay.
On...
Mm-hmm.
That kind of record.
Okay, close. So we read most of one sentence, but it was obviously pretty challenging and required quite a lot of focus from you there, Patricia. I don't think you can tell me, but I'm suspecting you probably wouldn't want to read a book like this. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Okay, there we go. So that was the eSight Go. So far, we haven't found a device that is great for reading, but maybe the Maggie will be the one. Let's go ahead and give it a try and see how Patricia gets on. Okay, so now onto the Maggie iVR. Cory, I believe you have something to say?
Your dog's tail is waggy. Let's check out the Maggie.
Okay, please put it in the comments if you would like Cory to stop with this terrible word rhyming. But for the moment, Patricia, same test with this one. We're using the same book. We're going to use the Maggie and see whether we have any more success. So again, I will start to zoom up. I would like you to tell me when you're able to see the words. 16 times magnification. Pretty big at this point. Does that help at all? And again, the field of view will be reduced at this point, so it might be harder to find the sentence that you want to read.
We don't have diverse or that kind of breed.
Very close. Okay, so we will stop the test there. For those who are just on the edge of their seats in anticipation, wondering what the sentence says, it says, we don't have chives or that kind of bread. And I think what we saw here is oftentimes when people with their visual impairments read using magnification, they put words together based on what they expect the next word will be. And, you know, in this case, the word chives is kind of out of left field, especially because we don't have any context of what this is about, this story, or where the person in the story is. And so that's a very hard word to try and kind of guess and put together. And so in this case, we weren't able to read the sentence. This was a good test. None of the devices were, you know, suitable for reading. So that's it. We can't read a book with any of these necessarily, or at least Patricia can't, but maybe you could, who knows. But with that being said, let's move on to the next test. We are going to try taking a look at the book again, but this time using some of the high contrast color modes. Okay, so on to the next test. This is the high contrast color mode test, and we are testing white on black, as this is Patricia's favorite high contrast color, and we are trying to read the same book as in the last test. We are using the Eyedaptic EYE5, 10 times magnification, white on black. Patricia.
Luke, before you say that,
yes,
there is a little piece of advice I should give you.
Okay.
You should always listen to your mother when it comes to contrasting colors.
Can we please edit that out, Jonathan? Thank you.
I told you I didn't want to force it. If a good one came, I would tell you.
Okay, so on with the test now. So Patricia, are you able to see any words on the page in front of you, or indeed locate where the page in front of you is?
Page in front of me?
Yep, so the book is still in front of you. And can you see where any of the words are?
I can see where the words are, but
okay.
Are you moving it? Like,
I am not moving it. And why do you say that, Patricia?
Because it was moving and it looked like the words are broken up. Like,
yes. With this high contrast color mode, unfortunately, I have noticed this, that with the white on black at least, the letters seem to break up, the words kind of disappear when you move your head. It's not a very consistent kind of color, and it doesn't really seem to work that well. Now, this is at 10 times magnification, bear in mind, which is the highest magnification. And so this would be the magnification that Patricia would need to read if it were possible to do so. But maybe at lower magnifications, you know, this issue isn't so prevalent in the high contrast mode. But for 10 times magnification, white on black, unfortunately, the EYE5 doesn't really seem to work. And that's great. So with that being said, let's try out the eSight Go and see if that one does any better. Okay, so device number 2, the eSight Go. Will it fare better than the EYE5? Let's find out. We are in high contrast mode, and we are about 16 or 17 times magnification at the moment. And bear in mind that the magnifications can't be directly compared because different manufacturers seem to use their own scales. And so that's, you know, does make things a little tricky when it comes to comparisons. But Cory, yes.
It's fair to say that we're at high magnification.
We're at high magnification, yes.
Yeah.
Good call. So Patricia, can you see where the words are on the book currently?
Yes.
And any impressions about the color mode?
Is it like sometimes it's the white background?
It should only be a black background with white text. I don't think it's you though, Patricia. I actually think with the eSight, sometimes it kind of, the technical term would be freaks out. All of a sudden the colors seem to go a bit strange. Now, can you see any words at the moment?
Okay. I see only and...
Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. We're at 21 times magnification, Patricia. White on black. Is the color helping at all? And does it look okay?
The color is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't have, I forget what that word was.
Ah, well, you shouldn't be remembering anyway.
Does it seem to have some of the same issues at the Eyedaptic, the one you just used a moment ago, where you thought things were kind of moving around a little bit? Does it have some of those same issues, Patricia?
Yes, it's like going from the words to a white background and like white and black.
So I've noticed this with the eSight as well. The processing seems a bit weird. Sometimes the words just go completely washed out white. Yeah, I mean, it seems again, from my experience with this one, that there is some processing issues when it comes to the white on the black, and maybe some of the other colors also, and then especially when we're combining with higher levels of magnification. Patricia, is it any easier to read like this? I mean, it seems like you're still having some difficulty reading.
It's easier to read, but the words are not staying there.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so it's easier to see the words, but because they're not staying stable, sometimes they're kind of disappearing and things not going to be practical for reading like this, I'm guessing.
Yes. Okay.
All right, well, with that in mind then, the eSight, unfortunately, the high contrast color mode is not necessarily working great.
No go for eSight Go.
You can't rhyme a word with itself. That's just poor. Anyway, we'll see if Cory can do any better with the next device, and that will be the Maggie iVR.
With pants that are baggy, you can carry your Maggie.
Okay. All right, so now onto the Maggie iVR. Same test, we are in the high contrast white text on a black background. Thank you. And we are at about 16 times magnification. So Patricia, any luck with this one? How do the words look here?
Well, we're on page 416.
We certainly are, one of my favorite pages. And what happens on page 416, Patricia?
You don't have clives or that kind of bread.
Okay, this was the best reading that we've had yet. Now, it wasn't clives, it was chives, but that was very close though.
That was very close.
Okay, so Patricia, how do the colors look? Are you having any weird effects like you did with the other two devices, or is the text staying nice and white and the background staying nice and black with this one?
Nice and white and black.
Okay, just how we want it. That's wonderful. Okay, I'm going to increase, just out of curiosity here, I'm going to increase the magnification. We have increased magnification. Patricia, are you able to read any more words on the page at this point?
Okay. And egg. Where omelet with sliced.
Good. Now I'll stop there so we don't need to read the whole page here, but we can tell that we have had some improvement in Patricia's ability to read the page, which you would certainly hope if you're using the high contrast color mode. Still maybe a little difficult to read, comfortably a book or anything like that, but it was nice to see the improvement. And it sounds, Patricia, like this one had the best result in terms of this white text on the black background. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
All right, well, good stuff. Maggie wins the day, but who will win the next test? That would be the low light test. There's only one way to find out.
Who will win your heart?
Who will win your heart? Let's find out. It's now time for the low light test.
I hope you don't feel fright, because it's time for low light.
Okay. Welcome to our Halloween-themed episode of Tech Connect. So now it's time for the low light test. We have turned off the lights in the room. Patricia is wearing the Eyedaptic EYE5 at the moment. Now, Patricia, we had the lights on just a second ago, and you could see Cory's head pretty well at that point, could you?
Yes.
Okay, so now we've turned off the lights. How does it look in comparison? How well can you see Cory's head now?
I can see Cory's head very well.
Very well, okay. Yeah. When we turned off the lights, did you notice a difference in how well you could see his head compared to how it was when we had the lights on?
Yes, when you had the lights on, Cory was a little darker But now he's a little lighter.
Interesting. So the compensation that the headset is doing because of the low light conditions has actually made Cory's head brighter than it was before. Do you see any perceived difference in the sharpness of the image, or does it look pretty much the same in terms of the clarity?
It's sharper because before I really couldn't. It was like darker. I really couldn't see Cory's face.
Okay.
But I can see Cory's face better.
More detail.
Yes.
What expression am I making? Can you see that amount of detail?
You're smiling.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. So for the Eyedaptic EYE5, it seems like the low light compensation is working pretty well here. In fact, Patricia says that she can see better with the lights turned off than she could when the lights were on. So far, so good. Let's find out how the eSight Go fares in the same test. Okay, so device number 2 is the eSight Go. Again, now Patricia, we just had the lights on. You were looking at Cory's head. I set the magnification level to be roughly equivalent to what we had with the Eyedaptic just now. And how did Cory's head look when the lights were on just now using the eSight Go?
It was light.
Okay. Could you make out any details when the lights were on his face?
No.
Okay, so now the lights are off. We're still looking at Cory's head. Any difference?
Yes, I can see Cory's head. It's lighter.
Okay.
I can see Cory's face.
Okay, and what expression
And
is he
now
pulling?
he's smiling.
He is, yes. Cory, can we pull another expression just to double check here? Any idea what Cory's doing now? I see, this is a little harder because when you smile, the teeth show.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
so
That's
that actually makes it a little easier to tell. Cory, maybe you could do something, well, I can't say without giving it away, but, oh, never mind.
He's smiling, making a monster.
He is making a, although the noise kind of gave that away, so.
No, but I could see it.
Okay, perfect. So actually, again, it seems like turning the lights off has actually allowed you to see Cory's face a little better.
Yeah.
And that was due to maybe the compensation for the low light brightening things up a little bit more.
Right.
And Patricia, we should ask, do you have sensitivity to light in general?
I don't have, well, yes, because before I had my surgery though, I had very low light. It was very low light.
Sure.
So since my surgery, the light has gotten a little better, but
Okay.
with this device,
Yeah.
it's the background is very bright.
Okay.
And you can see Cory's face.
Okay.
Like I can see his eyes, his nose, and everything. Like
Now, big question, does it look any better or worse than the device we just tried, the i5?
it's better, it's brighter.
Brighter, okay, perfect. All right, well, there we have it. Again, low light has actually improved Patricia's ability to see Cory's face. It seems like the eSight is doing a good job of compensating for the low light conditions and maybe even a little bit better than the Eyedaptic EYE5. But we still have the Maggie iVR to test, so let's do the same test and see how that one works. So now for the low light test with the Maggie iVR. We just had the lights on Patricia, and how did Cory's face look when you were looking at it with the lights on?
I couldn't hardly see him.
With the lights on, you couldn't hardly see him. Interesting. Okay, so it was worse with the lights on compared to the other two devices.
Yeah.
Okay, now the lights are off. How does Cory's face look?
Cory's face is much brighter.
Okay.
I can see Cory's hairline.
Okay. Is it receding or not?
Not really.
Not
on the
really.
left side, well, my left,
Yeah.
I can see the style of his hair
Oh, okay.
and all his features. He's
Okay.
smiling right now.
He is, yeah. And does this look any better or worse than the other two devices?
It's better because it's brighter.
It's better because it's bright. So again, the low light compensation is actually helping Patricia to see Cory's face, and it sounds like this is the brightest one out of the three, so it's giving you the best low light image. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I see his shirt, his ears, everything.
Excellent. All right. So the Maggie is working very well in the low light conditions, but it seems like all three do work pretty well in low light, which is good to know. Now, we should point out a couple of things. Number one, Patricia could not see Cory's face at all without any of these devices on, whether the lights were on or off. And number two, in terms of our setup here, we do have to have some lighting in order for the camera to be able to see us. And so this isn't 100% accurate, so when you're trying these for yourself, you might get varying results. However, we have done this without any lighting before when we've done previous videos just to test how things work, and they do still do the same job even when there's no kind of studio lighting going on. So this is as accurate as we can get it, and it seems like all of these devices are doing a good job in compensating for low light conditions. So good stuff, Patricia. You have done very well with all of these tests, and I think now it's time for us to wrap up our thoughts.
Thank you.
We've covered the 3 categories we said we were going to cover. Luke, they were near and far distance viewing.
Yeah, that would be with a regular magnification mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we did color contrast.
We did, and specifically with the white on black color mode.
And then we wrapped it up with the low light test.
Indeed we did, and we got some very good data from all of those tests. Cory, which is your favorite test?
I think my favorite test was the low light test.
The low light test, yep.
I got to make faces, and Patricia said I was very handsome.
She did, yep. We didn't catch that on camera.
Well, we edited that out. If you didn't see it in, it was because it was edited out. But it's not so much what my favorite was. Patricia, what out of using these 3 now today, was there one of them that stood out to you as one that you would prefer?
I like the third one.
Okay, that was the Maggie iVR. That was the virtual reality style device. And what was it about that one, Patricia, that you liked the most?
The lighting, the magnification of the letters and the numbers.
Okay, yeah. And that makes sense because in the distance test, then you read the best with the Maggie iVR. That allowed you to read the most lines. In the color mode, in the contrast test, it had the best white on black color, and you were able to read the best from the book with it. And in the low light test as well, it also gave you the brightest image, and that allowed you to see the best in that test with the Maggie as well. So for you, the Maggie really did perform the best in all of the tests.
You made a comment that I thought was interesting when we were just done with the low light test with the last one with the Maggie iVR. Luke said, you can go ahead and take it off. And you said, I don't want to take it off. So I think that's probably a pretty good statement for Maggie iVR that one worked the best for you.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So this was just a test for Patricia. Now, Patricia is an individual. She has her vision is hers and hers alone. And so her condition may not match up to your condition, viewers at home. And this is the thing with the wearables, you can really only see how well they work for you by trying them for yourself, unfortunately. Just because we've done this test with Patricia and Patricia finds the Maggie iVR to be the best device, that doesn't mean that is going to be the best device for everybody. But I hope that this has been instructional, at least in seeing how some of these devices work and in also seeing how they work for an individual with vision loss.
Put it down in the comments if there is a wearable that we didn't cover that you're interested in. We enjoyed making this kind of comparison between these 3 devices. And so if there is one that we left out, there is probably at least 3 that we left out.
Indeed, and please do like and subscribe if you liked the video, because we have great content coming out every week, including produced videos like this, but also we have a live show. That's right, Tech Connect Live is a thing, and it goes out on Thursdays, and it goes out at 11 a.m. Central. That will be every other week, and so the week after this video releases, you will be able to see the show. I'm not sure what the next topic will be, but it's always something assistive technology related and fun, so please do join us for that, and you can see all of those archived videos on YouTube, but also you can find them at our learning management system. Cory, to get to the learning management system, people would go to... You'll
head over to techconnect.vision-forward.org. That's techconnect.vision-forward.org, and you can get free on-demand ACVREP credits and enjoyment and fun and laugh.
And that's what we're all about on the
Enjoy.
show. And you can get even more enjoyment, fun, and laughs by checking out the podcast version of our live show. Look at your favorite podcasting service and do a search for Vision Forward Tech Connect, and you will find reams of content to enjoy, whether you're relaxing at home or on the go. So whatever types of media you enjoy consuming, we have it. And so please check it out. And with that being said, Patricia, please say goodbye to all of our loyal viewers.
Goodbye.
Thank you, and goodbye from Cory and I as well.